Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for another online video. We're going to talk about Prism surface area today. So, before we begin, just a reminder, we're going to have more videos. This is the first of many that I'm recording for this week. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me right here. I will put them on the Twitch stream on Monday or Wednesday, or depending on when you email it to me. Go ahead and get that to me as soon as you can, and then we'll get it taken care of. Our objective today is to find the surface area of a prism, and we're going to do that using the formula that I'm going to give you. I'll unpack it a little bit as we go, but a little bit. So surface area, this is our formula: 2 capital B plus P, capital P, capital H. And these three letters, I have them capitalized because they represent something very specific, and I want it to be very clear that these things are a specific thing. So capital B represents the area of a base face. It's not the base of a shape. We're in 3 dimensions now, and so when we talk about our prism, the base face, we're going to find the area of that, and we're going to find the perimeter of that, and then we're going to find the height of that prism. In your homework, you're going to see them asking about lateral area as well. That's just the area along the tube of the prism. Basically, you know, if you look around the room that you're in right now, you know, for those of you who, this is probably going to make people, but like, you know, you see that there's 4 walls. You know, there's also a ceiling and a floor, but the 4 walls of the room is what we're talking about. We're not talking about the ceiling, and we're not talking about the floor. We're just talking about the walls of the room. You know, the area along the tube of that prism, and that's just the perimeter of the base face times the height. To be very honest, the thing that's going to make this difficult, if at all, is just remembering how to find area and perimeter. And if you can find area and you can find perimeter, you will be fine for sure. So I'm going to do a bunch of examples, and I'm going to give you a chance to sort of play along at home, but I want to just do this one together. The way I do this is very specific, and the reason I do it the way I do is because it helps keep me organized. There's about 1,000 different ways to get lost, and if you're getting lost, then you're going to have trouble putting everything together. So what I try and do is I try and do one piece at a time and just deal with it as it comes. So here's my formula: 2B plus PH. So I'm going to find B, I'm going to find P, and I'm going to find H. If I can just do each of those things individually, and then I can just plug them into the formula, and then I'm good. So B, area of the base. Well, okay, this is a regular pentagon, so if I can find the perimeter of the figure, and I can find the apothem, well, then I've got everything I need. Well, the apothem is right here. The apothem is 6.2. The perimeter, well, each side is 9, so 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, because there's 5 sides. 1/2 a P. Let's make that a P and not a B, huh? A P, and my A is 6.2. And my P is 9, 18, 27, 36, 45. Well, I just found the perimeter here. That's 45 again. So I'm going to put that here too. And then my height, I'm going to look. So here, when we're doing this, the important thing to do is identify where the bases are. And so whenever you have a prism, I recommend, if if it looks weird and you're having trouble identifying the bases, set it down straight standing up so that it's sitting on its base. You see how you've got a pentagon down here at the bottom. You've got a pentagon up here at the top. You can go through and you can say, well, okay, I know my prism is standing straight up, so my height is just this vertical line right here, yeah? My height is just this vertical line right here, and that's 9. So now we've gone through, we've got our B. Well, let's actually calculate our B. Here we go. So we got to do 1/2 times 6.2 times 45. 1/2 times 6.2 times 45. That didn't even go in. Let's have it go in. 1/2 times 6.2 times 45. 139.5. 139.5 is our area of our base. Our perimeter is 45. Our height is 9. So now we're going to put B where B goes, P where P goes, and H where H goes. So let's do that right now. 2 times 139.5 plus PH, 45 times 9. And again, we're going to do that in the calculator. 2 times 139.5 plus 45 times 9. See how I just typed it in right here? That's all I need to do. And now I've got my final answer here. My surface area here is 684. 684. My units, my length units are kilometers, so I'm talking about area, so it's going to be kilometers squared. Final answer right here. So step 1 is find your area of your base. Step 2, find your perimeter. And I'll be honest with you, usually you find the perimeter as part of the finding the area of the base about half the time. So maybe find the perimeter for, it's up to you. You do you on this one, but find the base area, find the perimeter of the base, find the height of the prism, and then you're good to go. So now that I've done one for you, I want you to try this one. I want you to notice when you're doing this one what the shape is here. So go ahead and try it on your own. Okay, so once again, 2b plus ph, that's our surface area formula. Before we do anything, let's identify our bases. Well, it's standing straight up, right? So let's make sure that the bases here are the same looking. They got to be exactly the same looking, not just kind of the same looking. They got to be exact. So make sure that they're the same. Definitely looks like they're the same. 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Yeah, they're the same. So we know we're good there. So let's find the area of the base. Let's find the perimeter. Let's find the height of the prism. And let's identify the height of the prism. Let's use the highlighter here. Like that. There's your height. Okay, so area of the base. Well, it's just base times height, which is 4 times 4. Because it's a rectangle or a square if you prefer. What's the perimeter? Add it around. 4, 4, 4, and 4. 4. Adding around. And I'm writing this out. There's no reason for you to have to write what I'm writing out. If you get that and you just want to Hey, the perimeter is 16. I knew that. I don't need to write that down. That's cool. Hey, the area of the base was 16. I'm cool with that. That's fine. Whatever. But my recommendation to you is, at the very least, regardless of how much you feel like you need to show, at the very least, hey, the base area is this much. Hey, the perimeter of the base is this much. Hey, the height is this much. That way you've got everything written down. You can just plug it in. Show as much work as you need to stay organized, but don't feel like you have to overdo it. Like, if you can make do with less and you're getting it right with less, great. Don't be afraid to err on the side of doing a little bit more than you think you need, because there's such a thing as being underprepared, but there's really rarely a situation where you're overprepared. You can always bring it back once you recognize what you don't need to do. All right? But 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter times the height. And I don't need a calculator for this one. 2 times 16 is 32. 2 times 16 is 32. So the surface area of the whole thing is 64 miles squared. All right, and as a reminder, if they ask you about the lateral area, they just want the second one, the pH right here, this. So they would just want this 16 times 2 here on the right, and that's all you have to do for that. If they say lateral area, ignore the bases. They just want the walls. They don't want the ceiling. They don't want the floor. All right, so take a look here. We have this one is not standing straight up, and that could cause problems for some of you. So my recommendation, if you need to, you could, if you wanted to, redraw this. I'm going to make a little sketch here on the side so y'all can see what I'm talking about. And you know, not only am I doing this digitally, but so your drawing is 10 times out of 10 going to be better than mine, and that's okay. See, look, I'm making all these wibbly wobbly things, but like, pay attention to what you're expecting to see. See, here's the trapezoid on top, the trapezoid on bottom. And so we know this right here. This is what our base is going to be, our base face. This is what our base face is going to be. Don't be afraid to, you draw it out. Bust out some highlighters or bust out some colored pencils. Make an art project out of it, because you know what? Life is better with color. It's okay. But so the point still stands. It's the exact same problem, right? It's just find 2b plus pH. Let's find the area of the base. Well, the area of the base, we gotta identify all the things for your trapezoid. Sum of the top and the bottom sides times the height divided by 2, right? So 1/2 8, and then this one's 4. I'll put an 8 over here just so 8 and 4 is 12, right? 8 plus 4, that's where I got this, and then the height happens to be 3.5 for that little trapezoid. This thing right here, the red dotted line that we know and love. And then we go through, we calculate that out, and we get 21, I think. Spending a lot of time thinking about this. Let's just double check, because not having gone outside in weeks is rotting my brain. Yeah, I was right. I should trust myself more often. No, I really shouldn't. I really should be always double checking, because All right, so now we want to go around the perimeter here. Well, this is 12, this is 4, this is 4, and this is 4. 4, 4, 4, and 12 is 24. I'm going to write that out. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 12 is 24, because 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 12, plus 12 more is 24. And then the height, again, we want the height of the prism. We don't want the height of the base. We want the height of the prism. So when we go through and we do this, we're looking at how tall is it, right? So we don't want this one. This, we used up the 3.5 in here. It's dead now. We need to have this 12 right here. From this height. This light blue line is the distance from the bottom base to the top base. So now we're going to do our calculations. 2b plus ph, 2b plus ph, and then we go through. 2 times 21 is 42. 24 times 12 is 288. And then we're going to add these two together. 288 plus 2 is 290. 290 plus 40 is 330. So my surface area, 330 meters squared. That is my surface area right here. Now if I wanted the lateral area, that would just be this second one right here, this 288 number. Lateral area is just perimeter times height. Here's the perimeter, 24. Here's the height, 12. Perimeter times height is 288. But if they want the whole thing, the surface area, 2b plus ph, that'll end up being 330. All right, give this one a try, and we're going to go ahead with it. Okay, so we've got our 2b plus ph. Let's find b. B is the area of the base. That's going to be that 1/2 AP situation. It's a regular polygon. Well, the apothem is 8.7. The perimeter, well, we're going around, so it's 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, and 10. There are 6 sides, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. And there's my area of the base. Let's figure out what that is. Half of 8.7. This should come out to be a whole number still. Times 60. 261. Hooray. So B is 261. Let's find our P. Perimeter, again, going around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides, each of them 10. So our perimeter is 60, and then our height, right here, that's 4. So we've got our B, our P, our H, 2B plus pH. We're going to go through and do that now. We've got 522. 261 times 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 26 times 2 is 52. 522. And then 4 times 60, 240. And then just add these two together. Your surface area is these two together. 5 and 2 is 7. 2 and 4 is 6. 2 and 0 is 0. 760 square miles of wrapping paper if I wanted to wrap this up. Okay, now let's start getting a little bit tricky in terms of the way that it looks. It's still going to be the exact same process, but pay attention to the what the base face is. If it's not a so one clear hint to help you is if you see something that's not a rectangle, undeniably that will be your base. And this is not standing up straight, so we're going to need to use our imagination a little bit. If we want to redraw this, we can. Then let's draw our height. But let's look. We've got a triangle on top, triangle on bottom, and then we connect the top and the bottom with the height here. So be aware that that's what we're dealing with. We want to have that sitting straight up. So when we do our 2b plus ph, we've got to do it that way. Now the key to getting this right is understanding we've got a right triangle here, so the base and the height are just these two. So we've got a 6 and an 8 here, and then this piece here is 10. So base is area of the base is 1/2 base times height of the triangle. If it helps you, you can actually draw the triangle out separately. I don't know if it does. Sometimes it helps me. Look, here's your base and height here along the right angle, 6 and 8. Your perimeter, we're going to add up all the sides. 6 plus 8 and 10. 6 plus 8 plus 10. Well, that's 24, right? 6 plus 8 is 14, plus 10 is 24. And our height, if we look here, that's the connecting bridge right here in green, and that's 8. So we've got our base, our perimeter, and our height. 2b plus ph, that's an 8. 2 times 24 is 48. 24 times 8. Well, 24 times 2 is 48. 48 times 2 is 96. 96 times 2 is 192. Sometimes you have to break it down. So now we're going to add these two together to get our surface area. We got 48, we got 192. 8 added over here, that's 200. So we got 240 for our surface area, and our units are in square miles. Alright, we just got 2 more. Here's the first one, and I want you to take a second, try and figure it out on your own, see if you can figure out the perspective of it. Now, what makes this one a little bit wonky is the fact that you can literally go any way you want with this. As long as you pick a floor and a ceiling that are opposite each other, you will be fine. So you can, you know, for example, I'll pick this one. And we got here's our 2 bases. Here's our height. Is that showing up properly? Yeah, that's showing up okay. So look, don't be afraid to perceive this from any direction you want, because it's going to come out the same thing. So here's our situation: 2b plus ph, and you go through. Here's our bases are 4 by 12. So, and again, this is a rectangle, so base times height, 4 times 12. Our perimeter, we just add around 4, 12, 4, 12. 16 and 16 is 32. Now I'm just going to add, maybe make them look like actual numbers, because hey, that's what they are. 4, 12, 4, 12, 32. And then my height is along this dimension, and my height is 10. And you could try this your own way, but as long as you get the same answer that I do, you know you probably did it just fine. So 2 times the base plus the perimeter times the height. So we got 96 plus 320, which I believe gives us 416 for our surface area. Once again, square miles. And there's your answer. And again, if you get 416 and you used, for example, this one back here as a base, or this bottom here as a base, you could do that. You'll get the same answer. You will be fine. You will get it right, as long as you're consistent with what your bases are, and your height is the sort of, you got your base, as long as your height is the dimension perpendicular to it, then you should be fine. Last one, and this one is, oh, but Mr. Webster, that's a cylinder. Yeah, but a cylinder is just a prism with a base that's a circle, right? Don't try and be different. The book is going to try and give you something different. The book is going to tell you this. Hey, 2 pi r squared plus pi r squared h. And they're going to tell you that. Okay. Not pi r squared h, my bad. 2 pi r h. Here I am trying to do the book dirty. That's wrong. So, I mean, but first of all, this is needlessly complicated, right? And I had to struggle to remember it. I made a mistake. And that should show you that, complicated. Don't try and do it all at once. Don't be a hero. 2b plus ph. This will get you the exact same thing, and then you can break it down. You don't have to worry about trying to cram all this stuff into your head at once. It's a circle. Pi r squared. Well, here's r, right? Radius. Eight squared is 64. Slap a pi on it. Perimeter. Or pi d, like we talked about before. I like pi d. But either way, it's going to be 16 pi, right? Because they give you the radius, you want the diameter. Radius is 8, the diameter is 16. Slap a pi on it, and then the height, they give you 5. So look, 2b plus p h. And if you want to use the 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h, be my guest. You're going to get the same thing that I do, and you'll have a nosebleed, and I won't, and that's fine. 128 pi plus 80 pi 208 pi, and that's your surface area. And notice the directions: leave as an exact answer when possible. This is an exact answer. Leave it this way. That's fine. We'll go over significantly more of these in the Twitch channel when you come in and ask for them. I'm happy to give you as many as you need. go in, check the Math Excel. They should give you a number of these problems. Plus, I'm sure they're going to ask you about lateral area. Remember, lateral area is just the pH part. So for this one, if they said find the lateral area instead, they just want the 80 pi part. And that's all they care about, okay? All right. See you around. Have a good one.